I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. I want to taper the end on this handle. The easiest way for me to do that is to use a spoke pointer. Kind of goes along with a spoke shave, doesn't it? Spoke pointers go into a brace, and I like to use these old hand braces because they are very cool. Also, they provide a lot of torque. I don't use the ratcheting feature when I'm using a spoke pointer very often. Sometimes it's handy if you really got to get right down into it and do a lot of material moving. But it's always good to oil every part of the brace when you're using it. That way you're sure that over the years it's always going to be protected from rust and anything else. And when you put oil on, you always want to wipe down the tool. There's no point having the oil on the outside where it's going to attract dust. You only want to have it on the inside. It's been my experience that the best way to keep your tools useful is to use them. That way you oil them and you check on the blade and sharpen it when it needs it. This one I've had for 25 years. One of the first antiques that I bought. Really didn't have a need for it at the time, but it was one of those impulse buys. I was in a store and I had enough money to buy it. But it's been useful. I've done a lot of spoke pointing with it. Funny when I think about it, but I've always heard the word sanding smooth. And sanding does make things smoother, but that knife edge actually slices it to the point where it's almost glossy. So with the spoke shaves, there's really no need to sand once you're done. You can see the shine on the wood, and that's just from the knife edge going through it. No splinters, no burrs. Just carved. I just went through and polished up the blade a little bit because I noticed it wasn't cutting as well as I thought it should on the first one. This blade is probably going to last longer than I'll ever have a need for it. But taking care of your tools is always good. While I had it apart, stoning the edge, I also waxed everything. And I don't think I mentioned that this spoke shave, even though it's the only one that I own, and I can't say it's typical, this spoke shave has a depth stop. By loosening this screw, I can shove this shank in. So that the shank rides inside the cone. And I can set that depth to any depth that I want. Either just a little bit of a cut on the outside edge, or take it all the way down to a sharp point. Now I don't need to take this all the way down to a sharp point. So I'm going to set the depth stop, which I didn't do on the first one, but I'm going to set the depth stop on this one just about a 1/2 inch in. Now I may have to reset it. That's something that I can do as I'm going along. But it's easy enough to do. Just loosen up the screw. Slide the shaft down a little bit. There. Tighten it back up, we're ready to go. I've already oiled and cleaned the brace on the first one. So all I have to do is slip the spoke pointer into it and then tighten the chuck onto the spoke pointer. Now the blade is set a little bit light. Takes it down just like a pencil sharpener. Now if you were making wagon wheels, one of these would come in really handy. You'd have a whole lot of spokes to make. Since I'm making a wheelbarrow and I'm not making a wagon wheel, I've already got the wheel made out of iron. This is going to go back in the cabinet. But it's all cleaned up, sharpened up, waxed up, ready for the next time I need it. I'm just going to smooth the radius a little bit. The spoke pointer goes cross grain and the spoke shave goes with it. So the spoke shave ends up with a smoother cut. And rather than sanding it, I would rather have a nice smooth spoke shave surface on it. Two handles completed, shaved down, smoothed up, ready to go. Now it's on to welding the axle mounts. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching.